All right, week 5 college football breakdown here. Another Big Ten matchup. Madison, Wisconsin. We're seeing Illinois traveling to take on Wisconsin. Wisconsin only a 7-point favorite at home. And as you might expect in a Big Ten West game, low total at 43.5. Yeah, I mean, the first thing that jumps out at me is this line is short. As I went back and looked at that Ohio State game, I mean, my ratings didn't really knock Wisconsin's offense as much as I think my head did. I mean, yes, they got blown out last week against Ohio State, and their defense is probably the more concerning thing to me because Ohio State ran the ball at will. CJ Stroud threw for over 10 yards per attempt, and I get it, you're stepping up in competition, but I don't think Wisconsin has got a top 10 defense like they might have in past seasons. So if anything, I'm probably more worried a little bit more about their defense. Listen, this is another really tough matchup from a running perspective. Chase Brown for Illinois has been fantastic this year. I mean, 6.4 yards per carry. He's already got 604 yards on the ground. If you've watched Illinois at all, you know that Chase Brown is starting. I mean, and he was really good last year too. So this is nothing new. This is another, though, heavyweight matchup in the run game. And Wisconsin lost a lot at that linebacker position last year. If they don't get those issues shored up, they will get run on again here in this matchup. Obviously, though, I wouldn't really trust Illinois' passing game. Tommy DeVito's numbers are a little bit better than maybe I would have expected them to be. They played Chattanooga last week. He was over 10 yards per attempt. We're still early. We're still early enough into the season where that's going to kind of skew where guys' numbers are at. I wouldn't expect him to be much of a threat in this game. Still think he's a major step up from what they had last year with like Brandon Peters and Art Sitkowski. But I wouldn't be worried about Tommy DeVito throwing on this Wisconsin defense. So it really comes down to, can Wisconsin stop the run? I don't know. As far as their offense, though, like I said, I do think Graham Mertz has made strides. I mean, he had 2 really good games this year that came against nobodies. He didn't play all that well against Washington State. He's not the reason they lost the game, but didn't play all that well against the Cougars. And then last week against Ohio State, just 11 of 20. Well, I mean, didn't even get to 100 yards through the air, even though he had 20 attempts. So ultimately, I do like Wisconsin's offensive line in this matchup. While I like Illinois' linebackers, and while they have played the run pretty well this year, they have faced teams like Wyoming and Indiana and teams that they're clearly going to overmatch. Virginia. This is a major step up in competition for this Illinois front seven. Braylon Allen is one of the best backs in the country. Even last week against Ohio State, 23 carries, 165 yards. He was almost at 7 yards per carry last year as a freshman. So Braylon Allen is the real deal. This is a really good running back matchup, quite frankly. So, and listen, Wisconsin ran the ball all over Illinois last year. Braylon Allen had a good day. Malusi had a good day for Wisconsin. Ultimately, what's keeping me off, though, Illinois got good defensive metrics. They were a top 30 defense in the country a year ago. Kelvin Hart Jr. is a linebacker for them I really like. I think he can go toe-to-toe with Braylon Allen. So this is a tough handicap. First reaction is this line is short. I think it's a little bit reactionary to what we saw last week in Columbus, but I don't really think how Wisconsin fares against Ohio State and what they can do offensively translates to how they're going to, fare against a team like Illinois. It's going to come down to, can they stop the run? And there's enough pause right now to where I'm not going to make this an official play. This is one, though, that I'm going to kind of, mull over for a little bit. And this is one that I could add closer to Saturday. It's Wisconsin or nothing for me. I think that total is absolutely right. Low 40s is where a matchup between these two teams should be. Wisconsin does have some injuries along their offensive line, so I would want them at full strength in this matchup. And if they are, I think they can win up front against Illinois, get their ground game going, and should be able to win this game by double digits. I'm going to wait. But right now, I do lean pretty heavily towards Wisconsin minus the 7. Before we get out of here, guys, I know you've been staring at the shirt the whole time. If you're wondering how you can look as cool and sexy as me, let me tell you, Proud90.com, unique but very comfortable polos as well. They got t-shirts, hoodies, quarter zips, recently added a ladies line. Proud 90's got all your golf apparel needs. Browse their selection. If you see anything you like at checkout, use code Fordham. It's going to get you 15% off your entire order. Check the description for more information.